Tony, the three of us sat here and talked about it at nauseum coming into the season that the defense and the goaltending might not be good enough for this team to truly compete. And I don't know if it is over the course of 82, but in a just 60-minute window that we saw tonight, the defense and the goaltending may have been the strength of this team at times, which I don't think is anything you and I expected to say, at least this early in the season, with effectively three rookie defensemen in your lineup on a nightly basis. Nikita Zaitsev is D-man number 6, and you have an almost entirely new team from a year ago. That was impressive, and it all honestly all stemmed out from Soderblom and net for how good he was tonight.
It did. There's so much good thing, so many good things to say about his goaltending performance tonight. There's so many good things that you can say about this defense. Things that you said that you didn't expect to say. But Ron, I think the big question that I have to ask you right now, you're Kyle Davidson. You love being GM, Ron. Are you sending Korchinski back right now or no? Because I want to know where your head's at with this. He's one of those three young defensemen. Here's your sample size 4 games in. What are you thinking? Because I think you and I differed on this a little bit coming into the season.
We did, and I think I have maybe retreated off of my end a tad, but I will still stand on that he will play games in Seattle this year. I really do think it's still going to happen. But Kyle Davidson has already made it very clear that he has absolutely no issue burning a year of the entry-level deal. He did it with Lucas Reichel a year ago. He very well could do it with Kevin Korchinski this year. He did it with Wyatt Kaiser a year ago. He's okay with these guys getting to that next contract sooner because in theory, if they're not as far along in their development as they would be had that contract slid another year, maybe you get them at that bridge deal for a couple years. And that's how you start to build those layers of your contracts that we see all the great teams do, right? You get these young players on
GM Ron is
favorable
at
deals.
work right now.
I am at work right now. You get the younger players on bridge level deals when they're ready to get the big payday because they're hitting their prime. Your other superstars or other top players are starting to phase out. They move up. You get young guys that keep coming in. That's how you create dynasties. That's how you become the Colorado Avalanche. That's how you become the Vegas Golden Knights. That's how you become the Tampa Bay Lightning for the last some odd years. That's how you become the Blackhawks during the Cup run, right? We saw seasons where Brandon Saad was the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed rookie in 2013, and then 2015, he's part of one of the best lines in hockey for 82 games and a playoffs and another Cup run. You have to have guys that continue to come through and build up in the lineup. And in order for that to happen, sometimes they have to sign a little sooner. I think Korchinski's entry level gets burned. I think they don't let the contract slide. I think he's here 12, 13, 14 games. But if like a guy like Isaac Phillips or Ethan Del Mastro is playing very well in the AHL and Korchinski starts to struggle, I think there is the world still that we see them say, hey, you go to Seattle and go kick the shit out of all these little 18-year-olds in WHL. We're going to let one of these guys get some look. You're here next year for sure. And as soon as your season's over, you're up with the team, assuming you guys don't go on a deep playoff run like you did a year ago. So I still am not going to completely agree with you, Tone. I know you think Korchinski's probably going to be here the whole year, but I think he's going to be here longer than that window when you got to make the decision on do you want the contract to slide or not. I don't think it slides.
9 games?
It is 9 games. Yeah. So I think he goes 13, 14, 15 easily. And you know what, Tony? I hope I'm sitting here in 25, 30 games, kind of eating my words a little bit because he's playing that well to earn a spot in the NHL. That is just even better for his development as a young defenseman. It's even better for the Hawks' trajectory in terms of being competitive. I think it moves them up a year, to be honest. Maybe not to be Stanley Cup contenders, but very well, at least playoff contenders. That would be massive for this Blackhawks front office, I think, and just the Blackhawks timeline in general, if Korchinski is able to do that. Tony, while we're on the topic of D-men, I want to get your opinion. You asked my thoughts on Korchinski. Now I ask my thoughts. What do you think of Alex Vlasic so far? Because I am astonished. I am excited. This is, I think, what everybody hoped he was going to do this year was make these just – he feels like he's in the right spot at every time. He's big. He's got that long reach. He knows how to use it properly when it comes to poking pucks away. He did it tonight. He jumped on it right after that power play. They were getting they were getting Foligno off the ice, bringing Vlasic on, and immediately Toronto has a chance. Huge poke, and he pokes it almost to the blue line and out of the zone. Incredible play. Vlasic has done that all of these games. And Tony, it's crazy to think, but maybe that preseason game that we were at was kind of Vlasic solidifying himself and saying, I am an NHL defenseman now. I'm going to prove it and continue to prove it into the regular season, because through these first 4 games, Tony, honestly, I think there's an argument to be made that he's been the Blackhawks' best defenseman in the first 4 games.
Contributing on everything, Ron. And this is, you missed one word here. And I think one word sums it up: confidence. He's just oozing confidence right now. I couldn't have guessed that he was going to be your best defenseman through these first 4 games. I don't think anybody could have. Coming into this, I mean, there was questions whether or not he would stick on the top D pairing. And right now, 4 games, I wouldn't have him anywhere else. The big body part, you can't teach size. That is, I think, the most important part to Vlasic as well here, because he is really tough to play against. NHL defensemen, man, who are big dudes and can still handle the puck. You see him jumping in on rushes. You see him able, like the play that you described, where he reaches out and pokes that puck out of the zone. He's in the right spots, but he knows how to utilize his size to be effective. And that right there makes him all the more dangerous. And as I was talking about just a minute ago, these NHL defensemen who are of his stature tend to cause tons of problems and get a lot of press time when a team makes it into the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm thinking Victor Hedman is like the first example that sort of shows up here when I'm thinking about this. I don't think that's a perfect comp, but top line giant defender, maybe. You never know. Who knows? Just throwing some things out there, Ron. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but it was an incredible watch tonight if you sort of honed in on him. I'll make an exception to my rule. The rule being, if I don't notice a defender, they're doing their job. When I notice you for the right reasons, and you can see him all over the ice today, that is, I mean, the only other defenseman that I really noticed for the right reasons, Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, on a night in, night out basis. There's a case to be made that you've noticed Vlasic in these first 4 games. That's a really encouraging sign.